What's up guys, this is Drew. We are here at Sea Otter Classic. We are with Blanche, who works for D3O. They're a protection and technology company, and we're sure you're familiar with them. They're in a lot of the pads and protection that we've been using and you've probably been wearing over the last, what is it, decade or so. So we're gonna take a tour around Sea Otter today, look at some of the brands that are using and implementing the D3O technologies in their protection. But before we get into that, we want to talk a little bit about who D3O is, what the company is about, how the material became what it is today. So Blanche, I'll let you do a little bit of that. Tell us a little bit about yourself and the company, please.
Yeah, so I'm Blanche, as you said. I'm the Marketing Communications Manager at D3O. I'm based out of the UK office, which is our innovation centre. We've also got offices in the US and production out of China. So what we do in the UK is basically where our lab is, and that's where all the magic happens at D3O. So what we make is the world's #1 impact protection, and we operate across all different sectors, including mountain bike, but also military, motorsports, electronics and industrial applications. So we have a huge variety of impact protection applications, and we take the best bits from each application and take those learnings and put them into the different sectors. Yeah, so our founders, Richard Palmer and Bill Green, both had some background in impact protection, and they themselves were sports enthusiasts. They were looking at it from a sports perspective initially, and they thought, okay, if we can change the structure of impact protection at a molecular level, this is where the real opportunity is. And their original inspiration came from how snow is formed and the matrix-like properties of snow.
People out there who have never felt a D3O pad, how would you describe it? Like, what is the material and the structure?
Yeah, so D3O isn't one material, it's actually now a series of materials. So it started off as our founders found this fluid that acted based on non-newtonian principles, where if you hit the fluid really hard, and depending on the velocity of the hit, it would get harder on impact. So higher velocity, more stiffness. What they didn't have at the time was, okay, how do we incorporate this into pad form? So they came up with a way of actually getting it to solidify and react in a similar way. So that's how our first material started off, and now D3O is actually a series of materials, all tuned to different applications. So insoles, the impact protection will be important, but you'll have other elements that come into play as well, like breathability. When it comes to limb protection, where we've evolved a lot over the years is in terms of breathability and flexibility. So people will want us to meet the highest standards of impact protection, which we do, and more than the CE standards require. But in addition to that, we look at, okay, how do we get the rider to actually forget that they have a pad on in the first place? So we play on breathability, we play on the flexibility, we play on the thinness of the pad as well, and that's how we've evolved.
Alright guys, so now that we learned a little bit about D3O, the brand, and the technology behind it, we wanted to venture out into the Sea Otter Expo area and meet with some brands that are actually using D3O in their products. So we're here with Rick Reed of Ride Concepts Shoes. He's the brand manager, and he's going to tell us a little bit about how they employ the D3O material.
Yeah, Drew, so what's really cool is at Ride Concepts we launched an entire footwear line in the fall of 2018 utilizing D3O throughout the entire line, and we're using it in our insoles and then even in some of our shoes and some other features. So first I'm going to talk about why we're using it in our insoles and how that benefits the rider. We decided we wanted a nice high-end insole in our shoes, and so that someone didn't have to swap them out and put something in because the stock one wasn't good enough. So that was where we started, and then we partnered with D3O because of its impact protection abilities. So the idea behind using a D3O sheet in our insole is that under the toe area and the heel, anytime you take an impact, whether that's just a big bump landing on a jump, or even if you come off the bike and land on your heel, the molecules on the surface area of the D3O actually realign and they absorb that impact. So it's going to give you a more cushioned ride overall, or if you have an incident off the bike, like I said, it's going to help take on that impact, so you're not going to have an immediate bruised heel. So it's really cool how that works. That's in the insole in all the shoes. And in our higher end shoes that are coming out in June, we're using it in the medial area of the collar. So we use an asymmetrical collar, D3O integrated in here, So if you have any strikes against your bike or anything else, it's going to take that impact here, nice and cushiony. And the material we use is really lightweight and durable, so it's not going to break down over time. It doesn't add a bunch of weight to the shoe. So it's been working out really well for us, and we're the only brand using it in footwear.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Rick. We've actually been riding these Ride Concept shoes. We just published a review on them. I just got a pair of the Wildcats and have really been enjoying the benefits of the D3O insole. I've definitely noticed on really washboardy, rough trails that my feet are less fatigued. So it's really neat to hear why the D3O is helping my feet feel better on long downhill. So thanks to D3O and props to you guys for using that stuff in the shoes.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we're off to the next one. All right, guys, we just got over to the 661 booth. We are here with Andy, the product and brand manager.
Yep.
And he's showing us some brand new knee pads that they will be releasing this summer that also employ D3O technology. So, Andy, give us a little bit of info on these.
Cool. So these are the new DBO pad. It is designed to be a pad which introduces D3O technology to a wider range of people, mainly based on the price that we get into the market at. So it's a full D3O pad which comes into the market at $80 for the knee and $75 for the elbow. We do a range of sizes right from youth through to extra large. We've got a ballistic nylon on the outside. High density EVA foam and neoprene through the back, and then also obviously the D3O insert inside, revealing the telltale orange there. It's designed as an all-day pedaling pad, but it's got, you know, the impact absorbency of a downhill type pad. So yeah, it's bringing D3O tech to a much more accessible price point in essence.
All right, guys, we are on our tour with D3O. We just stopped at Troy Lee Designs. We're here with the Troy Lee. Good to meet you again, sir.
Good to be here.
We've got in our hands some of the speed sleeve knee pads. They also make an elbow. This is one of your guys' most popular pads, correct?
Yep.
Could you tell us a little bit about your experience working with D3O, how long you guys have been, working on padding together, and what you like best about the material, the product, and working with them?
Yeah, we've been working with D3O for, probably 6 to 8 years with them, and just working on a bunch of new product right now that's going to come out in 2020. Some new gloves, some more new knee pads, some protection that we're working on too, shoulder pads and back protectors. The great thing about D3O is they do all their testing in-house, so they supply us with all the stuff, the latest testing on it, and they have so many different levels of pads. So we're not out there trying to develop our own pads. They do an amazing job, and they're always bringing something new, and makes it really nice.
What is your go-to pad when you're out riding? I know you're, like you were just saying, you put in 6 days a week now riding. So what's your go-to?
I mean, the speed pad is what every day of the week.
Yeah.
Because it gives you it's more of a cross-country trail pad, and that's mostly what I do. I mean, if I'm gonna go do downhill, then I go to another level. So that's the thing, where D3O makes so many different pads for us that, if you're gonna do downhill, you're gonna enduro, you're gonna do cross-country. They have all different pads that, for the application you're gonna ride. A lot of our racers want to go as light as possible, and that's where the speed pad really comes into place. They don't even know it's on.
Yeah.
They'd rather not wear pads, but they know that they're going to crash sooner or later, and D3O does a good job on all the protection.
Well, thank you, Blanche, for taking us around, introducing us to some of the brands. Thank you guys for walking around with us at Sea Otter today, learning a little bit about D3O. We're gonna go get some ice cream cones. It's getting hot, and wrap up the rest of the show. Thanks. Didn't even feel it.